Hello and welcome back to the Odd Chopper YouTube channel. I'm Isaiah. I'm here to break down this weekend's action at Sonoma. So last weekend wasn't great. I got pretty high on Hendrick Motorsports drivers, and they did not live up to expectations at Gateway, likely because they changed the short track package. They weren't running the standard short track package they'd run at Phoenix and Richmond. They ran the normal package at Gateway. So I think that Hendrick will still have as much of an advantage at Richmond and Phoenix later in the year. So we'll probably go back to the well there. But an important note to keep track of which package they are running at which track. That's on me, y'all. Sorry about that. Uh, Today, we're going to have a race preview. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we can get our name on Zane Smith's truck. We're also going to talk about Odd Shopper Insider Access, which is the only way to get access to my full NASCAR betting cards. Great. Let's get right into the race preview. So this weekend, we've got the Toyota Save Mart 250, which is one of NASCAR's most frequented road courses. We have a very long sample here because NASCAR has been coming here ever since the 2000s, probably the 90s, ever since I started watching NASCAR when I was a kid. So traditional track, lots of drivers have a lot of experience here, unlike some of the other road courses. It's also a traditional road course, so it's not like the Charlotte Roval or the Indy Road Course, where it's a hybrid oval road course environment. It's just a straight up traditional road course. It compares favorably to the Circuit of the Americas. Obviously, that's the only road course we've run this year. So we're going to use that for data a little bit, but honestly, not a ton. Having a sample size of one that was so many months ago isn't super predictive. There are a little bit of things we can take away from it, but I'm not going to project Tyler Reddick to win this race just because he won at COTA. Cool. Before we get into the picks, let me talk about Tipico Sportsbook. Have you ever wanted your name on a Craftsman Truck Series truck? Well, you can't get it on the name rail, but you can get it on the side. If you deposit at least $38 with Tipico Sportsbook, you'll get just that, your name on Zane Smith's truck, plus $150 in bet credits. Bet credits are not withdrawable. Call 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a gambling problem. Smith, of course, will pilot the number 38 Tipico Sportsbook Ford at Mid-Ohio, another road course, in July. So it should be a fun race. He's a great road course driver. We might talk about him a little later. Hint, hint. He's a great Ford prospect as well. I'm a big fan of his. So it'll be cool to see him hopefully win in the Tipico Ford, which could have your name on it if you are one of the first 300 depositors at Tipico to get it on this promotion. Also, one quick note is that the top 5 depositors in deposit size will get VIP passes to a truck event of their choice. So if you don't live near Mid-Ohio Sports Car Complex, well, you can go to a different Craftsman Truck Series event and watch Zane Smith hopefully win that one as well. Cool. Let me pull up the odds board and let's get right into the picks. Cool. First pick is going to be Chase Elliott. This shouldn't come as a surprise. He's the winningest active road course driver in NASCAR. He also is in desperate need of a win after missing 7 races, 6 due to injury, 1 due to a suspension. I think he's going to be coming into this race with a ton of motivation and hunger. And of course, there are more than just narrative factors for my justification for this play as well. Let's get into the data. So his team, Hendrick Motorsports, got 2 top 5 finishes and the second and third best driver rating at COTA. The only better team, which is kind of a technicality, was 23XI Racing, in my opinion, because Tyler Reddick won in such dominant fashion. So, yeah, cool. Good job, Tyler Reddick. I am saying arguably the better team because Bubba Wallace's teammate crashed out pretty early. So, it's one of the 2 teams that I think is going to that had the best look at COTA. Anyway, so again, Elliott, the winningest active driver on road courses with 7 wins. He didn't win on a road course last year, which makes the fact that he has 7 wins on road courses all the more impressive, given how short his career is. So I'm willing to trust him here. He hasn't won at Sonoma before, but he finished P2 to Kyle Larson in 2021. I think this is one of the plays you don't overthink. It's a guy who needs a win. It's a guy who can win here. It's a guy in a fast car with a team that has shown speed at road courses. Yeah, the what is it? 9-2. It's 9-2 at Tipico. Actually, hold up. I need to do division correct. That is 11-2. Yeah, wow. I'm bad at math. So he's 11-2 at Tipico, 11-2 at BetMGM if you have BetMGM and not Tipico. But he's 5-1 everywhere else. So yeah, you're going to want to get that 11-2 before it disappears. Cool. Second pick is going to be Martin Truex Jr., and he is not that high on the odds board. In fact, he is quite low. He is all the way down here at 30-1. So Isaiah, why the hell are you taking a guy at 30-1 here with your second pick? Well, this one takes a little bit more thought, especially because Toyota sucked at road courses last year. Let's be honest. Chris Bell got a win. It was kind of a fluke. However, Tyler Reddick might have changed everything when he won at COTA. I think that the rest of the Toyota drivers are going to get his notes from Coda. It's going to spread through the pipeline. There should be a much better Toyota performance at Sonoma this year than what they were showing on road courses last year. I think the Toyota drivers essentially said that they felt, quote, handcuffed at road courses last season, which is not a great feeling. But now that Reddick has kind of broken the curse, I think that the handcuffs are off. I think the rest of the Toyota camp should look a lot better at road courses, which is all the more important for Truex because he is the winningest active driver at Sonoma with 3 victories, which came in 2014, 2018, and 2019. So it's not one of those things where like, oh yeah, he used to be great here, but now he's not great. Like Kevin Harvick, the quote-unquote Cactus King at Phoenix, who hasn't won there in a while, and yet is still kind of called the King of Phoenix, but sure, whatever. So Truex has a lot of value this weekend, winning his active driver with recent wins in a track that we only come to once a year. And yet he is 30-1 at Tipico. He was actually 31 to 1 at FanDuel. FanDuel realized their mistake, probably because I picked up a lot of action on it. That line is now 16-1. I don't think the 30-1s that are still hanging at Tipico and DraftKings will stay there forever. So yeah, and of course I have to plug Insider Access here. If you're a member of Odd Shopper Insider Access, you got the 31-1. Before that, nose dove to 16-1. Let me talk a little bit more about Insider Access real quick, actually. So as I said before, it's the only way to get access to my full NASCAR betting cards. But you get access to more than just that. You get access to all of our betting experts in a premium Discord where you can hit us up with questions and sweat out bets with us. It's a lot of fun. More importantly, though, is you can get your first week of access for half off. After that, it's just $19.95. You can use code ISInsider. That is ISInsider to get access to that promotion. What I recommend you do, you hop in the Discord, you tail our plays. Again, not just me. We've got Aton in there. He's profitable. We've got Lindy. He's profitable. We've got Ben Rasa. He is also profitable. So if you tail our plays, you will make a profit, and then you can pay for the Discord with the money that you made from us. So it's kind of free if you think about it like that. But I prefer to describe it as a service that pays for itself. Great. Now, this weekend, I feel kind of shaky about these plays. We've been kind of cold recently. I'm sticking to a half unit total of exposure to the outright markets, which is still a solid amount. We've got an extra driver in the article this week. Because it's only a 4-driver card, I'm not going to do another outright for this video. Instead, we're going to talk about my favorite driver prop. So it's actually going to be someone we talked about earlier, Zane Smith. We're going to bet on him to get a top 10 finish. Why? Well, Front Row Motorsports is great at road courses, and I think it's more than just the drivers at this point. Michael McDowell, obviously a super talented guy, a former sports car driver. He finished top 10 at Sonoma, Road America, Indy Road Course, and the Watkins Glen last year. So 4 top 10s out of, I think, 6 events. It's a pretty damn good hit rate. Unfortunately, he's like plus 120, plus 115 this weekend. So not a ton of value there. His usual teammate, Todd Gilliland, finished top 10 at Circuit of the Americas this season and had I think a P3 or a P4 at the Indy Road Course last year. So that is 6 top 10s in 7 races for Front Row Motorsports since the start of the next-gen era, which is a pretty impressive hit rate. Yeah, that is 6. Okay. I mean, that's technically 14 starts because you have to count both drivers. But still, it sounds good. The important thing to note is that Front Row Motorsports has Zane Smith on a partial schedule. So Zane Smith takes over the number 38 for Todd Gilliland in select races, this being one of them. So this 38 car that he's driving this weekend finished top 10 at Circuit of the Americas, and he'll probably be driving the same car at Sonoma. So why is he, get this, 8-1? 8-1 to get a top 10 finish. I would understand maybe if Zane Smith were a bad road course driver, but he's not. Zane Smith is great at road courses. He's shown that in the Truck Series. He has 2 wins, 4 top 5s in 8 starts. Last year and this year, he has no finish on a road course that is worse than P2. That is ridiculous. The dude is dominant at road courses. We know he has the talent to do this. We know that he has the talent to run the next-gen car, too, because this isn't his first rodeo. He just got a top 10 at the Coke 600 in a Front Row Motorsports car. That's crazy. So, yeah, Zane Smith, top 10, 8-1 odds. Sign me right up for that, especially if Toyota doesn't perform, which I think they will. But if they don't, and that Martin Truex Jr. play implodes, well, then who the hell is going to fill up the rest of the top 10? I know Toyota's only 6 drivers, but that takes that they are a considerable number of the field. Six is, if you take 36 and you subtract 6, that's only 30. That's a 1 in 3 chance of any guy getting a top 10. Also, like the full 36 car field, the implied odds on that are still the difference between the implied odds of a guy at 1 out of 36 to get a top, or 10 out of 36. Anyway, I'm going to stop trying to do math in my head because clearly it is not producing a coherent result, which is tough. But the point that I'm trying to make is that even in a 40 car field, you would have a 25% chance, a raw chance of getting a top 10 finish, which is way, way, way higher than what the books are projecting for Zane Smith at plus 800. So let me remove this odds board from the screen and go over my recap for this weekend's action. So number one, we're taking Chase Elliott at 11-2. That's plus 550 at Tipico and MGM. Number two, we are taking Martin Truex Jr. at 30-1 at both Tipico or DraftKings. If you are a member of Insider Access, you got access to this line at 31-1, which is a minor difference. But it is notable that the book where that was posted has now dropped it to 16-1. To me, that suggests that the 30-1s won't be there for much longer. And in lieu of a third outright from this video, we are going to hit Zane Smith top 10 at 8-1, which is available at both Tipico Sportsbook and at FanDuel Sportsbook. All right, that's going to do it for this week's video. As always, like and subscribe if you found this content useful, especially if I make you some money. As always, it's been a pleasure. I'll see you next weekend, and let's hope that we get the coin back this weekend after last weekend's messy results in Gateway.